last year we talked a lot about veterans like LeBron and Rondo kind of being valuable and showing you that they won before and they could kind of show the team how to get there. Do you feel like one of those guys now? Do you feel more confidence sort of approaching this season now that you won a championship?
Um, yeah, I mean, I kind of know what it takes to win a championship now, and so far the guys that haven't won, you know, Trez and Wes, and guys like that, I still want to be able to, even though they're, Wes been in the game longer than me, and Trez is a great player, and I still want to be able to, tell them things that can help us, repeat. Those two guys, listen, they wanted to win. Dennis, all those guys are able to learn and able to adapt to our system quickly, and they listen. Obviously, when you have a team that's just coming off a championship, it's easier to do. It's easier to learn. It's easier for those guys to adapt to us, knowing that we know what it takes to win.
Dave?
Hey, Paul George told Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson on their podcast that there's a smile, that you guys had some dialogue about trying to get you to play in Indiana. It didn't happen. And meanwhile, Friday, I think, marked the 2-year anniversary that LeBron, made it known that he'd like to play with you. Have you thought about how those things have played out? And obviously, in the context, you're going to be facing Paul George at opening night.
No, I mean the Paul thing in Indiana. It was a conversation for sure. Kind of just faded away. I'm not sure what happened on their end. He said that management didn't want to do it, whatever. But it was a conversation. And then, LeBron saying what he's saying. Obviously, want to, team up, and then the year that we do, we win the championship. So I think Ron kind of spoke it into existence, and it happened, and I'm glad it happened. For me, selfish reasons. I want to be a champion, able to do that my first year teaming up with him. But I mean, who would have known? Who knows what would have happened with Paul in Indiana? He's another great player. Especially when he was in Indiana, he was definitely tough to guard. He's still tough to guard today. But I think that was so long ago that we played each other many times. Since then. But you always think about like what could have happened. Will my career be a lot different than it is now?
Yeah.
Anthony, I'm curious, how much have you thought about kind of plan for rest and stuff this season? Kind of like whether it's back-to-backs and stuff like that, obviously with the off-season being as short as it was and the season being compressed. How much have you thought about that, and what do you think kind of the plan is for you?
I think you just take it a game at a time, just kind of see what your body tells you. So I thought I was going to be, winded in my first game back against Phoenix. And obviously I'm not, in mid-season shape. I don't think anyone is, but I felt way better than I thought. I didn't expect to play the entire first, and I could have in the first game back. And so I feel confident in playing, but it's different when you're constantly playing every night or back to backs and things like that. So you just figure out game by game, listen to your body, and coach understands. He does a great job of managing us, make sure that we get our proper rest, knowing that we had a shortened off season, and I can always go and talk to him, and when my body is telling me something.
AD, we're all in great shape on our secondly, you kind of talked about your expectations for Kyle to have a big year. We just got word that time extension. What can that do for a player? Just kind of the comfort in that, and knowing and not having that kind of that year hanging over someone's head.
Yeah, I mean it's good for You don't have that, contract anxiety for the whole year. Now that it's out the way, he can go out there and play, and which he was doing anyway. He was having a great, preseason, and he even played great for us in the bubble and all last year. So, he's locked in. He made a great jump. On both ends of the floor. He wants to take those matchups. He wanted to guard Book in the preseason. He wanted to guard Kawhi in the preseason. So, and Paul. So he wants those matchups. He's playing extremely well for us on the offensive end, making big shots. Shooting the ball extremely well, making the right play, the right passes. So it's good for him. We're excited to have him here. I know he's excited to be here. And he's a champion. You deserve it, and I'm glad that the Lakers were able to work something out with him to be able to allow him to just go out there and play and not worry about contracts for the rest of the season.
All right, I think we're gonna wrap it up. Jordan Richard.
What's up, bro?
What's up, baby?
How you doing? What's up? Can you just talk about, last game you had 6 threes and just playing on the perimeter. Frank ran the downstream for you to catch the three and shoot, and then taking a lot of sidestep threes. Can you just talk about, are we going to see more of AD on the perimeter this year and running, just some more isolation plays for you on the perimeter?
Last year, Coach talked to me about getting my 3-point attempts up. I think I was shooting, maybe 3 a game last year in the bubble, or it might have been for the season, and 38% in the bubble. And he said it helped us win, and he wanted me to get that average up to 5 attempts a game. And so, just having the confidence, working with, Mike P on my shooting, day in and day out, constantly just shooting the ball with confidence and just letting it fly. Obviously the team, the players want me to shoot it. They have a lot of confidence in me. And so I just got to be able to be confident enough to go out there and shoot the ball, whether it's a pull-up 3, side step, whatever it is, and to try to get that attempt up to 5, just knowing that it'll help the team.
LeBron, so you had 2 games to watch. It looked like you were having some fun, especially watching THG. Just wanted to get your thoughts on the kid, and this is coming off Wesley Matthews' comments where he said, one of the cool things about THG is that he's got one of the greatest players in touch of basketball, and I think I can presume he meant you, to be there. And so just wondering your take on the whole thing with Taylor.
I think Taylor is first of all, obviously the basketball, we can see what he's capable of doing. For him to be 20 years old, he hasn't even scratched the surface yet of what he's going to be. But the kid can flat out play. I saw it about 3.5, 4 years ago. I was watching a high school basketball game, and I happened to catch Simeon playing. And I told our agent at the time, it's now Taylor's agent, Rich Paul, told my agent, I said he need to take a look at this kid, Taylor Horton Tucker, that's at Simeon. I think, the kid is super talented. This is like 4 years ago. Long story short, obviously, you see what he's doing now. And he's going to continue to get better and better and better, as the days goes on. He get an opportunity to practice against us, the guys as veterans and things of that nature. So he's going to continue to improve, and he's going to do some really good things in this league for a long time.
Dave?
Hey, LeBron, there's some similarities you could draw between where you were in your career in 2010 and Giannis Antetokounmpo coming into this offseason. Could you see how tough perhaps that decision was for him, and how did you react to the news today that he re-upped for the max extension?
I don't know if I can relate to his situation. All of our situations are different, totally different, actually. They've tried to build something great for him, and obviously they did enough to keep him there. And I think it's great that he's staying there. He's committed to that franchise, and and that's what it's all about. So, but I don't think my situation and his situation, it's no similarities, and it's totally different.
Ben Waking.
Yeah, Rob. I wanted to ask you about how's 3:30 and kind of how that came together, and what you're kind of hoping to accomplish with it.
Well, how it came together is us continuing to want to listen to we listen to our families. We listen to our kids. We listen to our families and what their needs are. And we're just not settling for, what we've done in the past. We want to continue to grow. And we believe House 330 is the next step on providing, the future for our kids and for our families. 10 years has been a place that I grew up going to. Used to have a lot of banquets there as a kid, either when I was playing Little League football or Little League basketball, all the way up through high school. So I know how important that landmark is to our city and to the city of Akron. And for us to be able to take over that venue and create a space for our families and our kids and people that want to come and see what we're doing, I think it's amazing. I thank Chase and Old El Paso, Dick's Sporting Goods, and so many other partners that we have on just believing in us and being able to create something that our families and our kids will last forever. It's one of the best things I've done and we've done as a foundation, and we're going to continue to build off of that because our kids they need it. This is how you create generational change, and we want to continue to do that for our community.
Hey, LeBron, obviously this entire training camp process is pretty quick and rushed, but for you in these last 2 preseason games, the last of which has been described by Frank as sort of a dress rehearsal, are there some benchmarks or are there some sort of goals that you've set that you say, hey, I want to be able to do this, or I want to feel this with the team before we get in the regular season that you're trying to meet?
No, I mean, actually, I just want to continue to, if it's tomorrow, in Phoenix, if it's Friday, I want to just continue what the ball club has been doing. I mean, they've been sharing the ball, moving the ball, playing at a really good pace and trying to defend and rebound. And, we just want to, pick up back where we left off in the bubble, but also enhance that with the new guys. I mean, I'm going to do the same thing. Whatever it takes for our ball club to win, I'm going to bring my game. You guys know what my game provides for this ball club. And, and I'm going to produce that every night.
We've got time for 2 more. Bill Orm.
Hey, LeBron, sweet hat.
I appreciate it.
You took a lot of pride last year in being able to lead the league in assists at age 35 and taking on a new role playing point guard for that team. Obviously, a different year, different roster. Do you have a sense yet of whether you should take on that same amount of playmaking with this team this year? And what are kind of your thoughts on that moving through a year where you had such a limited offseason?
Yeah, every year causes for, whatever that challenge presents itself, Bill. So, if it presents for me to be the primary ball handler and also, try to lead the league in assists or just make sure I am being the forefront of, getting guys involved, then I can take that responsibility as we've seen last year. If it does not happen, if our team don't need it this year, then that's absolutely fine as well. We can, as you've seen through the first 2 preseason games, being able to facilitate through Mark, at that high post area is going to give us another playmaker. Dennis is going to give us another playmaker. So, it doesn't matter, for me. Whatever, the team needs for me to do this year. Last year calls for me to be the primary ball handler, to make sure I get guys involved, to make sure I keep the ball moving and things of that nature, and it worked well for us. But every year is its own challenge. So this challenge could be different. And whatever the coaching staff or the players come to me and they say, okay, we need you to score more than you did last year, or we need you to try to assist more than you did last year, I'll try to do that, or you need you to defend more. Whatever it is, I just want to win. And, that's all it's about for me.
Just want to bring that Turner. Ron, how you doing today, man?
I'm good, B.
Good. Look, I'm just wondering, what motivates you to get involved in your community projects, and how gratifying it is to do that and to hear other athletes speak up about that and also want to be involved in their communities?
I was literally, I know you hear this a lot when people do community events, things of that nature, and they say, the notion of I was one of those kids, but I was literally one of those kids. My mom was literally one of those parents. I come from a single parent household. I come from the inner city. We come from not much at all. My mom didn't work. She was the only parent. She was 16 years old, walking through Central High School in Akron, Ohio, pregnant as a high school sophomore. So and then unfortunately, my grandmother passed away when I was 3 years old. My mom was 19, and so we've been through, I guess, what you would say, hell and back. But we never wavered. We may have question days on, is there going to be a tomorrow for us, and how we're going to make it to the next day. For me personally, as a kid, looking at my household at a young age, I realized that I had to be more than just my mom's son. I had to be, kind of like a big brother of a family that didn't even have siblings. I had to be more than what I was at that time because my mom just needed that support. So I literally know what these kids are going through because I was that kid growing up in the late 80s and early 90s and through the 90s. So it's easy for me to understand when they're talking to us and saying these are the things that they need. These are the things that will help them get through. These are the things that will help a better future for them. Because I'm not going to sit here and say that I did it on my own, because I didn't. I had that support. When I started to play sports, I had coaches, Little League coaches, Frank Walker, Coach Drew Joyce, Bruce Kelker, Willie Earl, a lot of these coaches when I was a kid who saw me as a talent, but they also saw me as a young man, and they was like, okay, this guy can be, more than just a guy that could play sports. We need to have the support for him. And then I had my friends that, the Drew Joyces and the Willie McGee, Sheon Cotton, Frank Walker, Brandon Weems, Romeo Travis. I had those guys, that became my brothers and helped me get to this point where I am today. And you add on Maverick and Rich and Randy. I mean, I've had that support. So when you have the support, you can tap into some things that you never believed that you can tap into. And that is my opportunity and my responsibility to my community to give them support, because I would love that at some point in time throughout their lives, they could be 25 or 30 or 35, come to me or come to our foundation and be like, listen, you guys may not remember me, but I was that kid in the 3rd or 4th grade that came from this school, and now I'm a doctor at the Cleveland Clinic, or I'm a nurse at the Cleveland Clinic, or I've went off and I've been in Africa for the last 5 years and come up with anything. I've designed this. I'm an architect, and I'm building buildings all over the world. Like seriously, that would be incredible for me to hear. I mean, and we just, like I said, I don't know if it was a couple weeks ago or last time I did media, we got 28 kids in our foundation right now, 18 going off to Kent State and 9 going to Akron U, and that's just right now. That's received college scholarships. So I just want to create change, man, for the greater good. If you could create change with one family, hopefully it could trickle to 2 go to 4, 4 to 8, 16, 32. You guys know the math, and obviously you could tell I'm very passionate about that, man. It needs to be done. It needs to be done in our